over 3,800 seed nuts are in the process of germination. These seed nuts arrived in Grenada just over a week ago, and they are now placed here with help from the extension officers and other officers, workers within the Ministry of Agriculture. So we're expecting within 6 weeks to start seeing germination. The Mexicans was very instrumental in supporting this project from the World Bank. Besides the quantity of planting material, they give us additional 600 nuts to ensure that we have a successful germination. So despite we expecting a 10% of the seed not germinating, we have sufficient to meet the quota that we paid for and what the farmers expect. So the seed nuts are in the stage of germination. We are in the process of doing the irrigation system, which is supposed to be irrigating every 3 times per week. This is to speed up the germination. The coconuts have been sitting in a container for almost 2 months, right? In transshipment. So when they germinate, we are preparing the list of farmers who will most likely be getting planting material through the extension division. But we want to ensure that the coconuts are placed in areas where we have very low pest risk. We can have high productivity, and we can generate enough planting material at a certain stage of the plant growth to ensure that we can do a second phase. We have two main germplasms that will be receiving planting material from this. One is Carico, a 7-acre plot with different varieties, as well as the government estates. The importance of the germplasm plots is to sustain the demand for planting material. So our focus within the ministry after we distribute planting material is to mostly focus on seed nut dry seeds for farmers who are interested. So come a few years down the road during plant distribution, you have these coconuts available. So we have the Brazilian green dwarf, we have the Pacific tall. We also have in the field Malayan yellow, Malayan orange, and Malayan green, and other varieties, selected varieties that we have in the field. We are in the process of collecting the varieties in the field, so we can also add to the germplasm here in the empty spaces that we have. Why we're doing this is because the Pacific tall variety, you can intercrop with the Malayan green dwarf and get a hybrid variety called Maypan. The Maypan variety is a hybrid that you could use the seed nuts and continue to use the seed nuts. It's very high in water, very big coconuts. You could get meat and the water from it. And of course, we can also look at later on down the road where you have the fiber that is used for other industrial purposes like coir, etc. So this is basically in a nutshell what we are doing here. We are working on the criteria so that the extension officers can approach the farmers and ensure that they have the right conditions for coconut in the first phase. Everybody will get plants, but we have to establish plots where we can ensure we're going to get seed nuts. By 3 years we could get seed nuts. The coconut start producing 18 to 20 months, you should start seeing the first flowers and then the fruits come. The Brazilian green dwarf, a very high yielding variety. Sometimes the cluster of coconut will break from the tree. You can get as much as 60 if you treat it well. In times you'll see a lot of small nuts. We have a lot of small ones here, and then different sizes. The more nuts on the grab, the smaller it is, unless you're doing a very high fertilizer regime and irrigation, etc. So all the nuts here, the over 4,000, almost close to 5,000 nuts we have here, the dwarf varieties, are for water production. The Pacific tall, it's for both water and for oil in the end. And the other varieties are for water and oil. So farmers can rest assured when the plants start germination and give it basically 2 months. So we're looking at something like late October, early November, when these plants will be available. During the process, we are going to have several activities. One of them is a launch of the National Coconut Revitalization Program. where we can invite the farmers to participate and have a series of training activities. We're looking to have regional participants, international participants, and of course the Mexican embassy to participate in a great way. The seed nut supplier and his colleagues will be here as well to share the knowledge and the experience working on farm with us.